There's a sentence the WNBA prays its players will never ever say out loud. It's a quiet sentence, not an explosive one, but it's the one that carries the most danger to the league's carefully polished image. In a recent podcast, Sophie Cunningham, in a moment of what seemed like casual conversation, let that exact sentence slip. She said, "There are some teams that are not great." That was it. That was the crack in the dam. For the average listener, it probably flew by unnoticed. But for anyone who has lived inside the machine, it was a broadcast signal. It was the truth, bubbling up past the years of media training that teaches you to smile, praise the league, and never ever expose the family secrets. I'm Morgan Chase, and I spent years in this league, living by that unspoken rule. The rule says you don't talk about the inequality. You don't talk about the massive, disgusting gap between how the league's chosen teams treat their players and how the forgotten ones are left to fend for themselves. But Sophie just did. She didn't mean to. She wrapped it in praise for her own situation. But the truth came out anyway. And now that she has opened that door a crack, I'm going to kick it wide open. I'm going to show you the whole ugly story they've been hiding from you for years. A story of a secret two-tier system, a carefully crafted lie sold to fans and sponsors, and how one accidental confession is part of a much larger player rebellion that is about to bring the whole rotten structure crashing down. Let's start with the lie they sell you, the one that sounds so good on paper, the perks. It all centers around a startling admission Sophie made, something spun as a fun little fact about the life of a pro athlete. She said, quote, "I'm 28 and I'm living rent-free." On the surface, that sounds amazing, doesn't it? A generous perk from a loving team in a high-cost city. This is the image the WNBA wants you to have in your head, the image of supported, cared-for athletes. But for those of us who have lived it, that sentence sends a chill down your spine. Because for the vast majority of players, it's not a perk, it's a leash. It's a tool of control disguised as an act of generosity. To understand why, you have to understand the brutal financial reality the league has created for its players. WNBA salaries, even for veterans, can range from a shockingly low $66,000 to a supermax of around $250,000 a year. Before you say that sounds like a lot of money, let's be clear. After taxes, agent fees, and the costs of maintaining a world-class athletic body, that money evaporates faster than you can imagine. I saw rookies come into this league thinking they'd finally made it, only to realize their take-home pay was less than a first-year school teacher in some districts. Now here's the number the league actively hides, the one that exposes the entire con. WNBA players receive a pathetic 9.3% of league revenue, while their male counterparts in the NBA get a 49 to 51% split. Let me put that in perspective for you. For every $100 the WNBA brings in from TV deals, ticket sales, and merchandise, the women who are breaking their bodies on the court, the very product being sold, collectively receive $9.30. It is, without a doubt, one of the most exploitative revenue-sharing agreements in all of professional sports. So when Sophie says she lives rent-free at 28, she isn't bragging. She is admitting that even as a successful, established veteran, the financial structure of the league is so suppressive that it makes it almost impossible to build real wealth or put down roots. She admitted that a player needs a contract of at least 2, maybe 3 years to even feel comfortable thinking about buying a house. Team housing isn't a gift. It's a necessity born from a system of manufactured dependency. It's a golden cage. It keeps you transient, it keeps you quiet, and it keeps you perpetually tied to the team's goodwill. Because you know if you get cut or traded, you're not just losing a job, you're losing your home. This financial control is just the foundation of the lie. The physical manifestation of this inequality is where the cover-up becomes truly disgusting. This is the two-tier system in its clearest form. Sophie tried her best to play the game. She made sure to give Phoenix its flowers for their treatment, saying Phoenix did a really good job, we stayed at the nicest places. And she's right. See, the league's entire conspiracy hinges on a few teams like Phoenix. They are the shiny brochure. They want you to see the Mercury, who just unveiled a jaw-dropping $100 million, 58,000 square foot practice facility with 24/7 player access. They want you to see the Las Vegas Aces and their $40 million dedicated facility, or the Seattle Storm's $64 million palace. These are the images they blast across social media. They are pristine, elite, and professional. And they are a complete and total misrepresentation of the reality for many players in this league. Because while some players are recovering in state-of-the-art hydrotherapy pools, what is the league hiding? They're hiding the horrifying reality of the Connecticut Sun. For years, this professional basketball team, one of the best in the world, has been forced to practice on half-courts at community centers. Can you even begin to imagine the indignity? Trying to run professional drills and prepare for a nationally televised game while a local seniors pickleball league is on the other side of a thin curtain. They are hiding the reality of the Chicago Sky, whose players have said they are still practicing in a rec center. How can you tell a player she's a world-class athlete in the morning and then send her to a place that smells like chlorine and stale popcorn in the afternoon to do her job? It's not just unprofessional, it's psychological warfare. It sends a clear message: you are not a priority, you are an afterthought. This isn't just about comfort, it's a direct competitive disadvantage created and sanctioned by the league itself. It affects recovery, injury prevention, mental health, and team morale. The league is actively creating an uneven playing field and then lying to your face by pretending it doesn't exist. So why? Why would the league do this? Why would they actively participate in a conspiracy to hide this truth? The answer is simple and ugly: a combination of greed and fear. Right now, the WNBA is riding a wave of unprecedented attention. The league needs to project an image of strength, growth, and uniformity to secure bigger media deals and attract new, high-paying investors. Admitting that the league is deeply fractured, with a caste system of haves and have-nots, would shatter that illusion. It would scare away the money. So they lie, and they force the players to lie too. When Sophie was pressed to compare Phoenix and Indiana directly, she gave the most carefully rehearsed corporate-speak answer imaginable, an answer that tells you everything about the pressure players are under. All she would say was, "The market of Phoenix and the market of Indy are too different." Let that sink in. Different. That is the most a player is allowed to say. She can't say one team has a billionaire owner who invests while other teams are neglected. She can't say, "My quality of life and ability to do my job is a lottery system based on who owns my contract." It's coded language for a truth so ugly, the league has fined players into silence for daring to speak it. But the players are done with the code. They are done being silent. Cunningham's accidental confession couldn't have come at a worse time for the league, because it's happening in the middle of a rebellion. The players have already opted out of their current collective bargaining agreement, a move that signals they are ready for war. They are demanding exactly what this cover-up is designed to hide: upgraded facilities and better health and family planning. You saw the shirts at the All-Star game, "Pay us what you owe us." That wasn't a request, it was a threat, and it's why the league is so terrified of moments like Sophie's slip-up. Every little truth that gets out gives the players' union more ammunition and proves that their fight is about basic professional respect. Sophie Cunningham's slip-up was about housing and facilities, but this is just the beginning. This is what we know. So imagine what we don't. Imagine the disparities in medical care, in access to team doctors versus outsourced physicians. Imagine the travel nightmares. This cover-up runs deeper than anyone can imagine, and the league is in full-blown panic mode. It's escalating beyond a PR problem. There are already whispers of federal involvement, with people like Stephen A. Smith suggesting a need for federal investigation, and the Wall Street Journal mentioning potential congressional hearings over the blatant inequality in player treatment. When it gets to that level, it's no longer about fairness, it's about legality. The league has built a beautiful house of cards, decorated with a few shiny facilities and a handful of well-treated stars. But the foundation is rotten with inequality, exploitation, and deceit. Sophie Cunningham's words were the gust of wind that's making it all start to tremble. The players' rebellion is the earthquake that's shaking the very ground it was built on. The only question left is, who will be the player that decides to stop whispering and start screaming? Who will finally kick the door down and expose all the rot hiding in the dark? And more importantly, what desperate, ugly measures will the league take to silence them before they get the chance?